Good morning, Flyers. Welcome back. We are at our first race here in LaJunta for the Icebreaker event. It is Sunday. I missed Friday and Saturday, and Trey is not here, so you will just be getting a lot of me again. What do I have to say? It's LaJunta, great track, 7 corners, about minute lap times. Beautiful day out though. It's like 50 right now. It's going to warm up quite a bit. We'll see how this first session goes. Car seems to be ready to go. Had a long off season. Maybe we'll do an episode on what happened over the off season, but it's got new turbos, kind of in the middle of a tune right now. Some new tread. There's a half cage in it, a seat and a harness finally, and my wing's a little bigger, a little bit more camber up front. Lots of changes, I think, but I think the car's going to feel pretty much the same to me as the driver. We are missing a few people from last year. Sad to see them go, like Ryan Dussex. I don't think we'll be seeing him this year. He has moved out of state, but hopefully we'll meet up along the way. We have a couple of new cars here, though. I haven't met everybody. Like I said, I got in last night. A couple of us were here, and we'll see how the day goes. I'll keep you guys updated. I'm gonna try and get some footage of my stuff. Got some extra camera views going on, a new GoPro 10. Try that out. Yeah, I'm excited. I wanna get this thing on the road. Welcome, Flyers, to the Binge Garage. It's where I take care of all my cars and get the race car going. So we had our season opener at LaJunta, the Icebreaker, this last weekend, maybe a little bit longer ago, depending on when the video gets out. And what I realized is I don't know how much content's really going to be there. The laps are only about a minute long. I was the only one there filming, and I didn't want to bore you guys with just me on track. So we'll be adding some footage from some other guys, hopefully showing their laps as well, some of the battles going on throughout the day, but I still don't know how much content's really going to be there. So I wanted to add in the build breakdown for my personal car, because I don't think we've done one for me. We've done a bunch of stuff for everybody kind of that showed up last year, but I've never really explained what I've done to my car and where that all started. It's a 2008 BMW 135i. I got stock out of New Jersey and immediately started modifying it, coming from tuner cars prior to that, like an Audi S4. But this was really my first car that I started setting up to do track stuff with. Almost immediately after buying this car, I put it through a fence because it had an open diff. I put a tune on it, went around this corner, and I don't know that I floored it, but I pushed the gas pedal hard enough that boost kicked in, and I spun. Immediately spun. I had no way to react to it. And after that, I got the car fixed. There was a bunch of body damage. I had the whole car repainted during that process. And I immediately put an LSD in the rear end as kind of my first real mod. But I just wanted to go through the rest of the car with you guys so you kind of know what's all gone on with it. So aesthetically, it was repainted in the Alpine white. We've got a Sleck Power Dome carbon hood, super nice quality. Took a long time to get it here. We've got NRD, Nielsen Racing Development rondels. He also did this little beauty lip that I have here in green. We matched the green to my sunroof delete. It's a little dirty from being at the track yesterday. We've got the APR Performance Wing. I think it's like the GT 250 or 350. This is a Diverx Motorsports wide body kit. In the front, I'm getting about 2 inches per side, and in the rear, it's like 3. So we're actually adding a lot of width to the car with these. Don't quote me on the exact specs there. We also have a Nielsen Racing wheel. I sent him mine and he cut the bottom, got it carbon fibered, and did personalized stitching. We now have the Sparco, what is this, the Pro ADV seat. It's a little bit snug for me, but I kind of like that. Maybe I'll lose a couple pounds just because of it. And then we've got a NRD rear seat delete, and then the half cage from like IO Motorsports, I believe it was. And just while we're in here, I'll show you. This is the RTD short shifter. Last season I had just a standard short shifter and I actually hated it. I wish I still had this OEM one. So this one was quite a bit more expensive, but everybody said it was great. So I upgraded to that and I love it. It's great. It's a fantastic shifter. We've got a couple of little switches hidden down here. This is a AM meth controller. It took a poop at the beginning of last season, so it's just been turned off. It actually got stuck on, and even though my car was off, it was throwing the fluid into the intake, and I started the car right back up, luckily, and didn't seize it or something silly. But I need to take that out and integrate it into my other tune. I've got another way of controlling the meth. Then I have two switches here. It used to be for a line lock. One of them is still for that line lock, but instead of having a dual switch system, I put it on a hand trigger, so when I launch the car, I can release that with the same hand over here. Someone told me I should put it on the left hand though, so when I release the clutch, also my left side of the body is releasing something, and it's a little bit more intuitive. I don't use it, so I haven't really changed it. Be right back. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. I had to do a little bit of work. Believe it or not, I have a job. All right, so we were talking about aesthetics and stuff. We'll get back to that. So the front splitter is actually for an E90 M3 from Hard Motorsports, but it fits fine. I actually really like it. I've got it chassis mounted in the center. On the ends, I've got brackets that go up to where the headlight mounts in. And then I've gone through a couple different revisions of these, which is why I've got these bolts kind of hiding the old holes. I had to get some longer ones for this to really work. Next, I guess we should go in the engine bay, because that's always the fun part everybody wants to hear about. The car has been pretty good to me overall for an N54. A lot of people say they're kind of a hassle, maintenance, and they break a lot or whatever, but I don't think so. Not shined up quite as much after the race the other day. It's all dirty in here. So we'll start at the intake side. We have dual cone inlets relocated. They used to be on that side, so I had to move a couple of things over there, but these go kind of directly to the turbos, which are Vargas Stage 2 upgraded inlet side. So it's a 2-inch inlet instead of 1.75. They're not huge or anything, but they make good power. Those go into upgraded outlets to a nice fatty intercooler from this company that's not around anymore, but it was called PSP Motorsports, and he like handmade everything. Charge pipe, blow off valve. I went with the HKS. It's like the super sequential or something like that. And then we're going into an Alibaba intake manifold with port injection, because this is direct injected from the factory, and once you start going full E85, it's not enough fuel. So to supplement that, we've got port injection. This is another Nielsen Racing engine cover, customized to match kind of the stripe on the steering wheel he did. Then we've just got OEM plugs and coil packs. I just refreshed them quite a bit. New injectors. We have a aftermarket CSF radiator with an extra core. Deleted AC. Nice catch can back there. That's a new one for this year. Of course, we're using the Castrol SRF fluid. We've got just an aftermarket basic coolant reservoir. Gosh, there's always all these little things that, you know, when you start talking about, it's hard to remember. Controlling the port injection is a motive reflex unit tied into the DME in the box right there. It's kind of the newest, best thing they've come out with. It works with CAN bus, so it can actually show me stuff on the dash, and it has its own codes. So if my ethanol content sensor stopped working, it would just tell me that. I have an ethanol content reader on my tuner. When I'm driving, I can just watch it and data log everything. Super easy integration, map switching, all that stuff is really nice with this platform. They've really come a long ways. The next thing is we've got the StopTech ST60 brake kit with some Carbotech. I think they're the XP10s and 12s. Don't cite me on exactly what I'm using for that. So we're running between 18 and 21 PSI most of the time. Should be good for 450 wheel minimum. That's what I was on the old turbos. Now we're probably going to be 550 is what I was shooting for reliably. I'm happy to turn it down a little if it just makes more sense. I've got a couple of wires that I need to route at some point once the tune's a little more dialed in, because those will go to my meth pump in the back and the solenoid, so I can have meth again just at under boost for cooling. It's not going to be power. It'll just help with cooling and knock and stuff like that. Just added security. We have dual oil coolers, aftermarket. I don't remember what brand I went with any of this stuff, but they're both in front of the tires. The OEM one sat there, but wasn't big enough, and now I have two. It's a lot more oil and a lot cooler now. Honestly, I haven't had really the issues I used to. It'd be like 1 or 2 laps, and then you got to shut it down. Just getting too hot, the coolant would heat up. What else do I have done to this thing? Suspension. It's PSS 10 coilovers from Bilstein with ground control camber plates. M3, I think it's the 2 front, 1 upper and 1 lower arm, or it might be both lowers, but they're the E90 ones, and they give me a little bit more camber. We have one of the bigger sway bars with the adjustable in links on it. It's like a Eibach, I think. And then I got the Eibach in the rear as well. And then in the rear, like I said, it was the LSD. Good pads, braided lines, upgraded rotors. Not really a big deal. They're like R1 concepts. We definitely have a couple arms back here. It's nothing too fancy. I haven't gotten super involved with much of that stuff as far as suspension design goes. Just some vague updates, and it's honestly on all the OEM rubber mounts, transmission mounts, engine mounts. That's all stock OEM stuff. There's actually quite a bit I could still do to this car. I still feel like it's still pretty basic other than the engine. You know, I put a lot of time and money into getting this thing to the power level and sustainability for that with cooling. But as far as the suspension goes, it was just like sway bars and coilovers and getting in alignment. And then I went the wide body. So we've got something going on there. The wheels went from, the biggest I could fit was a 235 up front and a 275 in the back. And now we're 295s in the front with 315s out back with room. But I don't think upgrading the tire back there is really going to benefit me unless I can get a bigger wheel and tire setup up front. You know, we're getting real close to not having any room there. It's like maybe if I found the right tire, the perfect spacer, I could go to a 305. I don't think it's worth it. And without rambling too much more, I think that's kind of it. It's got like a spec stage 3 puck style clutch, lightweight single mass steel flywheel. I've got the Brom seat in the passenger seat still. I'd like to upgrade that so I can have a harness over here as well. Geez, we're binging on the 135 right now, and we're about done, I think. All right, I think let's get to the racing. Let's see some laps. So this lap was one of my first of the weekend. I think it was my third or fourth lap Sunday morning at the event, and I was still scrubbing in my tires, and I actually had a few power cuts due to the new tune not being quite dialed in, but even with that, I was almost able to run the fastest. Coming into session 2, the tires felt a little bit better. I wasn't getting any more limit codes. I added a little bit of E85 just in case, since I was getting some super knock. The tuner said it was more to do with the flashing than anything. Seemed like Jeff was getting faster, but I hadn't been able to catch my PB from last October. Session 3 was starting to feel much better. I was getting much more confident going into turns 1 and 6. I think I was leaving a lot of time on the table there. There was a little bit less grip on the track, just getting a little bit hotter out there. And I could tell the car was down on power from last year, which might have made a little bit of a difference trying to catch that PB, but I came really close. Was really happy with how the weekend turned out.